Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Grand European Tours Roadshow. I'm joined here by Jordan and Matt. How are you guys doing?
Good.
All right.
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. So we're going to go through a little bit of what you can expect in the upcoming series, episodes, whatever you want to call them. So firstly, we're going to talk a little bit about why we've started the company and what you can expect from us. You'll find out a little bit about us as people and our motoring preferences. Between us, we've got a lot of experience in the continent, basically, where we're going to be spending most of our time in the company. So between us, we've covered France, Italy, Spain, Switzerland, Belgium, Netherlands, Sweden, and Austria. So we've travelled quite far, to be fair. We're going to be try to go to, once COVID allows us to, plenty of motoring shows. So me and Matt are going to the Goodwood this year. I'm going to Silverstone, and we're hoping to go to the Modified Festival. So we'll bring you all the latest from there. We'll go through all the motoring news. We'll discuss motorsports. So obviously F1 practice starting today. So we'll bring you the latest from that. The E-Extreme series that's starting in April looks very promising. So we'll cover that hopefully, and we'll crack on from there, boys.
Yeah. Good.
So I think first of all we're going to cover just so you know a little bit about us and what we like in our motors, our favourite cars of all time, and we'll even go through our least favourite cars. So if I start it off, my number one car is what I'd always wanted since it was around from when I was born, and I think it's one of the most iconic hypercars. So a 1992 McLaren F1, the biggest go-kart you'll ever see.
To be fair, it is iconic.
Yeah, I could have guessed. Yeah.
You wouldn't have guessed that.
I wouldn't have guessed that. No.
So it 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, and it would top speed at 240. It's actually 110 miles per hour quicker than the F1 cars of that time. So only 64 were ever made. So unsurprisingly, it's got a value of 14 million now, which is staggering. But yeah, I think it was just iconic with the single seater in the middle. It was an absolute monster of its time. So that would be my first. If we move on to Matt.
Yeah, you can do. Bit of a contrast from that, really. Mine wasn't designed by a Formula One guru designer, but it is made by a fan group, I suppose. So an Alphaholics GTAR is my number one car, I think. They're about £250,000. It's classic Alfa Giulia with a 260 horsepower engine. It weighs about 800 kilos, I think. And carbon fiber bonnet, carbon fiber doors, carbon fiber boot. And I quite like resto mods, so that one works quite well. I'm a big Alfa Romeo fan, and I'm going to get a lot of stick for that. But
just
I can feel it.
Only some, all right? Only some.
250 grand for a fake Alfa. Like, to be fair, I wouldn't pay one for a real Alfa, but just it's you wouldn't. I don't think any person in their right mind would.
No, not really. When you could spend a lot less and just go get an Alfa.
Well,
and still break down on the side of the road.
Yeah. Well, they're not what they used to be, are they? I give it where it's due. They are good cars now. To be fair, very good cars. They're not very common either. You don't really see a lot of them on the road.
No, that's because they're all in the side of the road. There.
The scrapyard.
Wow. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Picking holes already. Love it.
Over to you then, Jordan. Come on. What's your...
Okay, so this will be quite controversial for you now, Curtis. Mine would have to be a Porsche Cayman 718 GT4.
Now, I hold the view that the Cayman is the best designed Porsche. I think it's the best looking Porsche.
Yes. For me, the GT4... For me, I love track cars. I love race cars. That is where that's where my heart is. So for me to have like that would have to be one of my top cars up there. Doesn't matter how much it is. I'm not one for stupid expensive cars, but yeah, like if you think about it, it's a track car ready to go.
Yeah.
I think we should come back to this on my worst selection because it'll fit in quite nicely.
The funny thing is, it might be the same car.
No, you'll be interested with my my worst one. It'll fit in very nicely.
All right. If it's a Boxster, I'll give it to you. Yeah.
All right then.
Moving on to my second one. This is Matt will tell you that I won't pay that much money for a Mercedes, but
he'll pay that much for a fake Alpha.
Exactly. He'll pay more for a fake Alpha. He'll pay more.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So my second one would be a Mercedes AMG GTR. I would have one right this minute if I could. 577 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. It's got a top speed of 198 miles per hour. Yes, it's worth valued at 190,000. I don't care. I'd still have one that's still nice looking. It went around the Nürburgring 7 minutes 4 seconds, which is actually around 8 seconds slower than its rival, the 911 GT3 RS.
I don't care. How many seconds slower?
8 seconds. I don't care.
How? Wow.
Yeah,
it's a nice car.
to people who don't know cars or racing, 8 seconds isn't that long.
No.
But when you're into cars and racing, 8 seconds is a lot of time.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's a few straights and a few corners potentially.
Yeah.
I wonder how much quicker the Alphaholics GTA would go round.
It wouldn't make it round.
It's not real Alpha,
it'd be in the pits before, because it'd been broken down and have to be recovered.
I bet it's quicker around the track than the Mercedes GTA.
I don't care. I wouldn't have one. Go on, Matt.
All right. Go on, Jordan.
Is the GTR 4-wheel drive or rear wheel?
Rear wheel, I think. Yeah.
I actually think it is.
I can imagine it's rear wheel, so I can imagine it's slightly bonkers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know when I watched the clip of Valtteri, Lewis, and Toto going around Silverstone in them, they're always kicking their back ends out. So potentially, yeah.
But I think getting onto the subject of rear wheel drive cars, things like that, for example, M4s, M3s, things like that, AMG Mercedes, they're all, rear wheel drive. They are, I've personally driven a few powerful rear wheel drive cars, and they're not to be taken lightly. Like they're very, very fun cars, and you need to be able to drive well to actually control them around a track. So even 8 seconds, you've got to be a good driver to get that time down.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
And you'd probably have more fun than in a 911 GT3 RS.
I don't know. See, that's a discussion for another date, I think, because that could get heated because of Porsche. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go around then. So I'll throw my second car in the ring then, shall I? And that is it's a Maserati MC20. So that's their new take on the MC12, and it's.
I actually agree with you on this one.
600.
Yeah. Now you've said it. Yeah.
Scissor doors, mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, and it's under 200 grand. So, would you have a Mercedes? Would you have a Maserati?
Mercedes.
Would you?
Yeah.
It went right down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Italian cars. You might have noticed.
Yeah, just a little bit. There's a common theme between me and Matt. So I'm more into my German cars. He's an absolute boffin for Italian ones.
Yeah.
So
you're also more into very, very expensive things.
Yeah, that's just me as a person.
No,
Yeah.
He's into really expensive things to buy. I'm in really expensive things to maintain. That's the difference.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. That's kind of where my other cars, my personal cars would come in.
Yeah.
My second car, I've personally owned it, would have to be a Hyundai 30N.
Okay.
Very nice.
After personally owning one, everyone's like, "Oh, Hyundai this, Hyundai that." They brought out a hot hatch to rival some big names, and it did really, really well. 2-litre turbo, had 275 brake, front-wheel drive manual. It was a very, very good driver's car. I can't fault it really in any way, shape, or form. And obviously, it's Hyundai. You know, 5 year warranty. Never have to use it once. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
And to be fair, over the last couple of years, Hyundai have brought out some very, very nice looking cars. Not just the i30.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
They've been very, very nice.
When you think about how they made the i30, and they pretty much, you know, they had the most of the rally team talking, you know, having input. They had the guy who pretty much made all of the M cars for BMW put input into it. So it had the correct people around it. And yeah, when it came out of the factory, it is a fantastic car.
Good looking car too.
And
shame you killed it.
I'm hoping the next one they bring out will be a automatic 4-wheel drive. That'd be very, very nice.
Yeah.
So what happened to your i30N?
That's a very touchy subject. Come on. Wow. You didn't do me like that. Wow.
He's gonna rage quit.
Unfortunately, I was in an accident, no fault of my own. Yeah, you know, modifying cars is what I do. I did spend a lot of money on that car, modifying it and obviously buying it. But yeah, things happen. Things happen for a reason. And then my next car, you know, we move on to
it's fine because in the last few years I've absolutely trashed my last car, and Matt's car ended up on the back of the truck, and we have images to prove it. So
nice. Yeah.
And guess what it was?
An Alfa Romeo?
It was.
Oh,
it was.
And it's not in its natural resting place on the back of a pickup truck.
Oh yeah.
That was horrendous. In the middle of nowhere for about 4 hours, sat in the passenger seat, just watching Netflix on my phone, waiting for green flag to come and pick me up, and it wasn't going anywhere. It was horrendous.
Yeah.
So
I've never had that.
Is it my turn again?
It is
your turn again.
So my final one. Another supercar, unfortunately. Maybe I should have lowered my level, my standards. So it's a McLaren P1.
Yeah, you see, I was
for a reaction
festival when they unveiled that. It was incredible.
Yeah, yeah. I can't say anything bad about that, to be honest with you.
Brilliant. I will crack on then. So it's 903 brake horsepower, which will get you to 60 miles an hour in 2.7 seconds. It has a top speed of 217. However, that's limited because of the tyre compound. So with the right tyre compound, it will get you to 249, which is very respectable. It's a quick car.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because you've got cars now that are, pushing 300 miles an hour. So what wheels are they on? What tyres are they on? I think that was limited by its time, I suspect.
I think the cars that are kind of running at that kind of speed, the tyres are obviously, they're not just run-of-the-mill, are they? They're not just run-of-the-mill tyres. You can't just go get
no, definitely not.
They're
going to be your 15 grand a set tyres.
Yeah. You can't go put some Pilot Sport 4s on your Bugatti and go do 250 mile an hour.
Exactly, yeah. It's going to eat them alive.
Yeah. It's obviously it's all down to the research and things like that, isn't it? So
yeah,
but
exactly,
to be able to have like the capability to say, yeah, this tyre will go 300 mile an hour.
That's impressive. Yeah,
it's a very good feat.
They just need to give some longevity to those tyres.
You're not going to be doing 300 all of the time, are you?
70.
Yeah.
down the autobahn at 3 a.m. potentially.
Yeah, I still think 300 mile an hour down the autobahn is a bit of a push.
Yeah.
I think there will become a time when the autobahn goes, I know he said there's no limit, but
you're taking the piss.
it takes you a long time to find the pieces of a car that's crashed at 300 mile an hour.
Yeah. The trajectory of the pieces.
We'll stick to the legal limits.
Yeah. Go on, Matt.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to get some stick for this one. I know I am.
You got some stick for the first one.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Can't explain it. Don't know why, but I really like the Lexus LC. I've never played it. I really don't know. I just like it. It looks good. It looks good, and I don't.
The beta model of the RC.
Yeah.
You see, I like the RC. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's the side profile and the front, particularly for me, it's a little bit different, and I think it's just that little bit different that looks better. Lexus most reliable cars on the road. You know, it's not the most powerful, but it's not exactly slow.
Do you know
about 350 horsepower at least, but I have no words. I don't know. I just like it. It's one of those.
The best way I can sum this up is if I was to turn up in my RC, I would expect my son driving along in his electric scooter in his little LC model. That's the best way. It's the baby to my daddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like it. End of. I don't know.
I have to say, after seeing lots of cars out and about, and I have seen an LC like on the, they are very, very good looking cars. In some angles they are like, wow, you look at that and go, it's completely different. Nothing else looks like it. It's a very unique looking car. I will give you that.
I think that's what it is.
But yeah, it's still a Lexus. At the end of the day, you know.
Yeah.
They don't. Yes, I know they made the LFA, but they don't really make fun cars, really, do they? Like when you think fun car, you don't immediately go Lexus.
Lexus.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna go out for a spirited drive in my Lexus. It just doesn't even roll off the tongue very well.
Yeah. If I was walking through a car park and I was walking up the side of one, I'd expect to see my granddad maybe sat in it.
Oh, cheeky.
Nah, that's harsh. They're too nice looking to be a granddad car.
Oh, I don't know. It's a little bit like what's that Volvo?
No style. Here we go. Come on. Yeah. At least it doesn't break down on me. That's the main thing.
Yeah, but if we're going to be picking on each other's cars, you know, Curtis, I'm not even going to go there. Mine got me round Europe in one tank. Not round Europe, but to Brussels, back to Lille and back in one tank. I can't complain. Let me guess, that was a very boring drive.
It wasn't that boring a drive. Obviously, I mean, Calais to Brussels, yes, it's one motorway. Literally 2.5 hour motorway without coming off. But yeah, it was an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Just sitting there in a diesel, you know, not doing any speeds, but at least your miles per gallon was good.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
The main thing.
It was actually my first trip.
Now who's the granddad?
Huh? It was actually my first trip abroad yet, and I paid extra to get onto the ferry first, not thinking I'm going to be first off. So I'm hoping I can follow people out of Calais, and then they open the doors and it drops, and I'm like, crap, I'm the first one out. And the worst thing is, all around Calais they had diversions because they were doing roadworks. Not only did I was uncomfortable driving on the wrong side of the road at that point, I had no idea where I was going or anything like that. It was horrendous, but it was a good trip. It was a very good trip.
Yeah, very good. I the longest journey I've taken in my Volvo was up to the Lake District and around the Lake District for a weekend and then back again, and some beautiful roads around there. That was a really nice experience.
Yeah, definitely up north. There's some beautiful roads up north, 100%. So obviously currently during these times, it's hard to get out and actually experience anything, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It is.
Come on, let's have your third, Jordan.
So my third car is also one. It was a dream car of mine, and I was lucky enough to get one. It is a Honda Integra car, DC2. Probably a lot of people would probably agree with me. Probably one of the best front-wheel drive handling cars of the time it was made. I have the UK spec, but yeah, just fantastic cars. 1.8 engine. Mine's modified, so I actually don't know the 0 to 60 of it. Officially, it says 160 on the clock.
No idea.
Yeah. So that's how fast it goes. Let's just say that. But honestly, yeah, you know, it's so much easier to talk about cars you've owned, especially. Well, unless you're Curtis, and all you can do is, well, I want this and I want that, and this one's worth 14 million. And I
can't brag about a Vauxhall Insignia. Like, what can I say?
You can get your kids in the back.
Well, it was bragging earlier that it's got a bigger boot. So
it's got a very spacious boot.
That was your biggest flex.
And what was the car that you drove all them miles in?
The Vauxhall Insignia.
There we go. So you've just been bragging about how good it is on fuel.
Yeah, it's good on fuel, but it's nothing to brag about, is it? Really?
There we go, Vauxhall fans. We all know your diesels are good on miles per gallon.
There you go.
Some great motoring knowledge.
Yeah. If you want good fuel economy, buy a Vauxhall.
So if we just quickly run through, I'm conscious of how the timing of this. So I'm just going to whack out my worst three. So my first one would be native, boring, and what's the word? I know. So if they were going to tell me they were going to bring out a 911 in 10 years' time, and I had a pen and a paper, I could draw it for you.
Let me guess. The same as the last four.
All of them. All of them.
So basically, what you're saying is you don't like any Porsche ever.
No. And I'm not taking any other answer. No, I'm right on this. My second one. I'm just going to move on. My second one would be a Lamborghini Countach.
Poster car.
Yes, and I said this to you countless times. That's why posters went out of fashion. It was ugly. Ugly.
I'm hurt by that.
Yep, and I'm glad. My third one would be a Ferrari Testarossa as well. Ugly,
Ferrari redhead.
Square, boxy, and obviously it may be because it's 30 odd years old, but yeah, it's
poster car, mate. You get
yes,
literally translated redhead. Testarossa, redhead.
I'm not accepting them answers.
No.
I don't know if it's because I don't. We might have, obviously we're the same age, but we might have a different appreciation. I think it's because it's so old and the styling was so different back then. I just can't appreciate it because I'm a big fan of like with the McLaren P1, the curves, the way it just looks. It looks beautiful. I can't say it about the Countach or the Testarossa.
Okay, so when you're talking about the Lamborghini, how do you describe that?
Boxy, ugly.
Boxy,
yeah,
Lamborghini, and just known for doing mad shapes, mad lines.
Yeah. Modern ones are beautiful. Have you seen the Lamborghini Cyan? I think it's called. That looks very nice. I would take one, but I wouldn't take the Countach.
There were Lamborghini back there. It was a poster car, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Probably absolutely bloody awful to own and drive. Absolutely bloody awful, I'd imagine.
And look at.
Nah. It
wow.
was for a reason. And the Testarossa, I mean, nah, not enough.
My opinion is
you actually like cars.
I love cars. I absolutely love cars. I just don't like
them.
Yes.
That was a poster car. Everyone used to look at that and go, wow, look at that.
You know what's funny? I don't see any posters on any of your walls. I don't see one on mine. This is the reason.
It's it's not bad. In terms of Porsches, Caymans I quite like, and the Taycan I like. 911.
You also like Alphas.
Well, yeah, but I don't think even the new I can't remember the name of it now. The 4-door one, Panamera. Even the new that's gotten slightly less ugly as it's gone on.
Yeah, that is very nice actually. Very, very nice.
Yeah, so I don't agree. There's some nice Porsche, and then again, there's some classics, some Le Mans entrance and all sorts. So, Porsche made some good cars along the years.
Shall we move on to your worst three, Matt? And then we'll jump on to Jordan's.
Okay, so the worst car on my list is a Porsche. it's actually specific.
Case and point.
Well, it's around the same time as some of the cars that you've mentioned. It's the Porsche 959, which was a really long 200-mile-an-hour, ugly as anything Porsche. I hated the look of it. I actually got given one as like a die-cast model because obviously I'm old and I was a kid then, and I had this die-cast model and that was ugly as anything. I hated it. I remember opening it, going, "Oh yeah, this would be like a Ferrari F50 or something." No, it was that, and I remember the feeling of disappointment looking at it as a kid. I didn't like it at all.
I'm speechless in some of your choices,
especially
Curtis's.
Well, the second one on my list, I'm going for Pagani because I love the Pagani Zonda. Pagani Zonda was amazing. The Pagani Huayra, I couldn't get on board with at all. I just didn't like Pagani Huayra, not at all.
This is what I'm saying, Jordan.
The theory is crazy.
That car was literally designed like a jet fighter.
Yes, exactly. Inside as well was absolutely stunning.
Interior was nice. I didn't like the external of it, and I think for me, it was because it moved from a Zonda, and the Zonda was amazing, no question with that at all. And then I look at the Huayra and I just thought, whoa, where were you going with that? I always felt like that little disappointment. And there's been no new Pagani since, and I think the Huayra killed it.
I think that's kind of going to the same point as Curtis and the Lamborghini. They've moved so far, technologically wise. Let me just try and get that word out. Obviously, they had, they just look completely different to everything else again. The technology that was on it was mental. It had like NASCAR, like the little air brakes to stop it from spinning, things like that.
Yeah. I know. I get all that.
It's a pinnacle, really. Like when you think about it, and then you see it on different cars, and other manufacturers then start to implement that kind of thing. It was one of those cars where everyone else kind of goes, "That's a good idea," like that.
I just didn't like the styling of it at all. I never got on board with them, and I mean, I'm generally not really a fan of many SUVs. Not many SUVs I like at all, anyway. But the worst offender for me, the worst car on my list, it's probably my ultimate worst car, I would say, is the Ford Mustang Mach-E.
Oh yes.
And it's 50K, and it's got a touch screen slapped onto the dash, and it just looks
a 50-inch touch screen.
Yeah, there's just nothing nice about it at all. I can't stand that car. It's my ultimate worst car, I think. Yeah,
I think this is going to be our quickest one because no one disagrees.
I completely agree with that. I've seen a few out on the road, and every time I go, that is horrendous. They don't look nice. Yeah, not good.
It was a close tie with another Ford, and the Ford Puma. They made it into an SUV, and I saw one of them, and it's horrible. It's really horrible. It was a close, but Mustang electric SUV, way out. So yeah, they're my worst three.
Do you want to shoot yours out, Jordan?
First one, I'm going in on this one. 100% Skoda Yeti.
You really hate that car, don't you?
Yeah, I really do. It is literally a box, on wheels. There's just nothing enjoyable about it. I don't look at it and go, "Oh, that looks sporty or fast or anything."
Mm-hmm.
It's a bread van.
Really? I agree. No, I do agree.
How is that worse than Fiat Panda? Is there
that's second on his list.
They are basically the same car.
Yeah.
They look pretty similar. The second one is quite a wide spectrum, but I would say Tesla, just Tesla in general.
You don't like any of them?
No.
This is a design.
I don't know. I'm a bit 50-50 if I'm honest.
Really, I see them on the road, and I'm just like, there's not much styling to them. I don't think. I don't like the massive screen you get in there. in the center console. You know, there's all this thing about not allowed to go on your phones while you're driving, doing this, but you can whack pretty much a TV in the middle of your center console. That bugs me. It really does bug me. But yeah, Tesla's definitely really not a fan.
I've seen models and they look quite nice. Even though I don't like SUVs, they're actually quite nice. But I was looking forward to the Model 3, and I've seen them, and I'm always massively disappointed to look at.
Yeah. That I was very, when I kind of, you know, first saw that they were bringing them out and things, I was like, oh, this could be good.
Yeah.
Obviously, yes, they're fast because obviously electric power, it's just instant torque. Yeah, get granted. But yeah, the styling for me, not there.
Yeah,
definitely not.
I get that totally.
The third for me, this is a bit of a tricky one. It would probably have to be a Peugeot. The Peugeot, you know, the 5008, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That. Like
5008. Which one is that? Is that like the?
It's like a people carrier. It's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't the door slide open?
Yeah. For me, again, just very boring. Doesn't seem like it's just one of those cars where you drive it just because you've got it,
and you don't care about cars.
You've inherited it probably.
You don't care about it. Yeah, no styling, nothing really crazy. Like, oh yeah, look what I've got. I've got a 5008. Even it's named stupidly. Like, yeah,
it don't roll off the tongue, does it?
Yeah.
No.
Fair play.
Yeah, that's cool. We'll move on to just quickly run through some of the new cars coming out in 2021. One that I'm really fascinated about is the Ioniq 5 Hyundai. It's fully electric. It's got very futuristic styling, but it's got a minimalist cabin, which is, I don't know, it just looks really clean, really fresh. It'll have a range of up to 290 miles an hour, which will actually get you from London to Newcastle, so you can go see Newcastle lose, Matt. It's going to come in two different battery sizes, so the 58 kilowatt or the 77 kilowatt. It'll actually do 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. Obviously, just touched on electric cars, instant power. So yeah, no, I think it looks fantastic. But yeah, no, very excited for that one. Also, the two new Cupras. So they've got a Cupra Born, which is, I believe, fully electric. That's got a range of 310 miles. It's 28 grand. It's coming out in winter. I don't know. It looks like, Matt touched on this a couple of days ago with me. It looks like a angry Honda Jazz, but I don't know. It looks quite stylish. Yeah. I don't think that's ever been said about a Honda Jazz. And also the Cupra Formentor, which is a hybrid. That's 49,000 coming this summer. That's a very nice. Matt won't like it. It's an SUV, but I think the new Cupras are looking very, very nice. Any you two got your eye on this year that coming out?
The big one for me, surprisingly, I'm going to go for the most expensive one probably.
Oh, you hypocrite!
I'm really looking forward to the Gordon Murray T50. So that's Gordon Murray's design. It's the modern replacement for the McLaren F1. Basically, isn't it? You can even see the styling on it. It's got the active fan on the back that he pioneered in Formula One, and I've seen him did a really good presentation around the car, and even that fan is really smart. You know, the way it pulls the air from underneath, and you can use it for to keep the downforce, so you can corner better. You can use it in conjunction with everything else to go faster. It's a really clever bit of kit, and he even said when he made the McLaren F1, he had loads of limitations, and with this, he's managed to eradicate all of those limitations. But he has no idea how fast it is. He has no idea how many horsepower it is because he doesn't care. All he cared about was making it small, fast, and light. And even though it's got a Cosworth engine, it's a bespoke Cosworth engine that they've had to shave loads and loads of weight off. You know, and I think that the levels of detail it's gone to would be phenomenal. It's about £2.5 million, I think, but I think that would be a phenomenal car.
It's a nuclear weapon with wheels, basically.
But it's small and light. It is really tiny.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, you can have a car. It doesn't even have to be very powerful, but if it's light, it's going to be quick.
It's going to go,
Rapid.
You know, the whole power to weight ratio thing is massive. You know, for example, my Teg weighs less than a ton without me in it.
Right.
And it's 225 brake horsepower on paper.
Yeah.
So
hmm
it comes up against faster cars, and they're very, very shocked by it just because of the weight it is.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it is a nice feeling to go, yeah, I haven't got a turbo, I haven't got this, just because I'm so light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any cars you got your eyes on this year? Jordan?
I will be going for the same manufacturer as you, actually. The new i20N.
Mm-hmm.
There has just been released photos of it. Actually, out on the road now. It is looking very, very good. When they first kind of brought out the idea, I was very skeptical of it, going, you know what, I don't think how they could make that fun, good looking, but they have. I think they've smashed it out of the park again.
Yeah. It's good
I think that's going to be a very, very fun car to kind of go against things like the Fiesta ST, the Polo GTI, all things like that will now have, something else to battle against. And if they can take things from what they've done with the i30N and implement it into that, it'll be a fantastic little car.
Yeah.
It'll be quick, it'll handle well, it'll be something people are very, very interested in, because Hyundai is becoming a lot more interesting with cars and things.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely
I think
that.
the price looks pretty reasonable as well, to be honest with you. I think, when you consider
most of their cars are, especially for the service you get, things like this, they're very well valued cars, and you get a lot of car for your money as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to pay extra for, the heated seats and stuff. Most of that is standard in the Hyundai now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fair play.
So I'm going to shoot on to the car news, some of it around the world, some of it from home. So the government have pledged £3 million to hydrogen alternative fuel. Me and Matt had a conversation about this a couple of days ago. I think it's a way forward. Matt's saying it's going to be expensive, but I think it's going to be the way forward. There's been a lot of criticism about electric batteries, just from from the cells. So, what's your two thoughts on
it? My views on it are, I'm a petrol head at heart. I am, but I know we have to move. We have to change. We have to change what we're doing, because we can't be like this forever, because we're not going to last. I do like the movements that they are making with electric cars. Things like Porsche, even Mercedes are making nice kind of electric cars now.
Spaceships.
Yeah. I kind of like one thing about them, though. I like the sound of them. I know it's weird.
That whirling, whizzing noise.
But it's like a spaceship.
Yeah.
Kind of has a hum to it. I really, really like that. But yeah, and like we said earlier, like they are very, very quick cars. Even the cars that aren't supposed to be quick, they're still quick just because it's just instant power.
Yeah.
But the whole fuel thing, it will come to an end one day.
Yeah.
And that will be sad, because of all the cars, we all love from our childhoods or whatever, will either have to go, or you'll just be taxed massively on them.
Yeah.
So it'll only be the people who have money that can buy that kind of thing or own that.
You'll have to finance the road tax.
Yeah.
Exactly, and things like that. And they'll probably put fuel up as well, because all this new biofuel they're going to be bringing out isn't going to run my car. It's not going to run your guys' cars.
No.
The engines, they're not going to be cut out for it.
That's all.
And then obviously, fuel's going to just rocket in price.
Yeah, well, it's supply and demand, isn't it? And as it reduces in volume, it's going to go up in price anyway. It will cost you $1,000 to half fill your car at some point. That will probably last about 5 minutes.
I believe that is what they'll have to do to get people like myself to not drive internal combustion cars anymore.
Yeah. I have a slightly different view. I think we need both. I think electric and hydrogen is probably the way to go. The cost of producing and storing, and the energy used to produce and store, and the safety around it all with hydrogen is the bit that really makes me a bit nervous. It will feel a bit like a normal car because you'll fill it up in a similar way, but I don't think it'd be much cheaper than petrol at the moment. I don't think you'll quite get the range that you get from diesel or petrol either from it when you are refilling. So for me, it feels a bit like it's going to be more costly. I might be wrong. The electric side of it, again with Volvo thing, but they they've run an algorithm now that traces all the way through their supply chain, so they know where their stuff is coming from. So they're making sure that they're buying stuff from their suppliers where it's not being strip mined. And if everybody follows that suit, the way and the ethical resourcing of things has got to change. So I feel like there's some movement on that. And when people complain about, cars run on batteries and all the rest of it, but your TV, your phone, your laptop, your current ICE car has a battery in it. The components are out there already. We're doing it already. I'm a little bit in the middle. I think both is the answer, but we're not there for either yet.
Yeah. Moving on to something slightly different. Now, we're all Formula One fans, obviously, that I've touched on earlier. Formula One, the new season is starting today. Just taking it to a little bit to the gaming side, just so everyone is aware. So EA just purchased Codemasters. They're actually going to be completely separate entities, which is glad, because I think everyone was a little bit worried about EA taking over and microtransaction everything, which apparently they were only there to boost the growth of Codemasters, which is very good. But talking of F1, just to discuss a little bit about today's practice, it was actually a massive shock to see how much Mercedes are struggling. I don't know whether they're showing their true pace, but McLaren and Red Bull seem like they've closed the gap massively, which is a little bit worrying. Maybe in qualifying tomorrow we'll see the true Mercedes pace, but it's going to be a very interesting season if it continues like testing and practices have today. So there's one to look forward to and keep an eye out.
I have my views on this.
Go on.
I would rather it be like this. I would rather not.
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
not saying I want Mercedes to struggle. I'm not saying that at all. But over the last few years, it has just been one main team kind of ruling it out. But it would be nice to kind of be like, this person needs to win this race instead of Lewis just needs to do this and that's it. He can come 10th and he still wins the championship. No, it shouldn't be like that. It should be close. It should be close racing. It should be down to the end. On the line. It's a few points in it at the end of the season, not someone's just walked off of it. But it would be nice also to see other teams and stuff, be on the podium.
Yeah.
Would be really nice.
I'd like to see Alfa Romeo doing better this season.
Yeah, of course you would.
Shock.
Speaking of motorsport, to be perfectly honest, because that's where they belong. So it's just good to see them back. But I mean, when they're doing rubbish, they're Sauber.
I like that.
They're Alfa Romeo.
So just before we finish, just to wrap it up, we're just going to obviously, I don't know if you two are interested or going to be watching. I know I certainly am, but the new Extreme E series starts at the beginning of April. It's fully electric. It's actually to raise awareness for climate change. You'll be able to watch the 5 stages on either BBC One, Sky Sports, BT or ITV. The first stage is in Saudi Arabia, and it's really interesting because I think it's going to be very, very exciting. You've got some absolute legends in there. So Jenson Button's going to be racing. He's got his own team, GBXE. Nico Rosberg and his father, Keke Rosberg, they've got their own team. They're not racing in it, but they'll have their input on the car, so that'll be interesting, as does Lewis Hamilton in his X44 team. The really one that stood out to me is I'm going to butcher this name massively, is Acciona Sainz XE team. Carlos Sainz Sr. is racing in this series. So his team was the first team to win the Dakar Rally with a 100% electric vehicle. So picture this. Ferrari in F1 come out of nowhere. Carlos Sainz wins the Formula One Championship. Carlos Sainz Sr. could potentially win the Extreme E Championship. That would be insane for them as a family, but I think it's going to be very good. You've got the Dakar rally, the Saudi Arabia one, rally in Greenland, Brazil and Argentina. They'll be covering each different climate issues, so desert, ocean, Arctic, the Amazon and glaciers. the cars are 550 brake horsepower, and they'll go to 60 in 4.5 seconds, which is obviously it's very good. So
Yeah.
I think this will be a very, very good series to keep an eye on. But I think that would be. I think that's a good place to wrap this up for today's episode. Obviously, we can touch on it more in the coming episodes. So
one last point, though, I think it will make everyone aware of how actual reliable battery electric cars are going to be.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, well,
obviously, when you think about it, Dakar Rally, internal combustion engine don't deal well with, really, really bad conditions, sand, dust. So it'll show kind of, electric power. It's a strong one.
I think we'll touch back on this the next episode around the sort of time the new season of the Extreme E kicks off, and it'll be a good place to touch back on it and go through the race format then. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and stay in touch and comment below your ideas. Our website link is also in the description below, so give that a check. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. See you later.
See ya.